lecture to learn about natural language processing. Okay, so previously we have seen introduction to natural language processing, right? We have seen about word vectors and all. So in this video we start with components of NLP, natural language understanding. Okay, it stands for natural language understanding. So there are two components of NLP. One is NLU, natural language understanding. The other one is natural language generation. What do you mean by natural language understanding? It is nothing but mapping to given input in natural language into the useful representations. What I want to do is whatever is the given input to me, right? But that input is in natural language. For example, it is in English. I want to represent it in useful representations, useful formats. Okay, so that is nothing but NLU, so that we can analyze different aspects of a language. So NLU is necessary. And the second one is NLG, natural language generation. It produces meaningful phrases and sentences. So here generation is there, okay? Generation of phrases and sentences in the form of natural language from internal representation. Okay. So for NLG, that is generation, I require a text planning. Okay, what is text planning? Retrieve relevant content from knowledge base. So whatever I want, I feel like relevant, I want to retrieve it. For that I need text planning. Then I want sentence planning. Choose required word for setting tone of sentences. I want text realization. That is nothing but mapping sentences, sentence plan into sentence structure. Okay. So the point is, we don't have in detail study of this. Just you should know what is NLU and NLG. Now NLU is harder than NLG. Okay, generation of natural language is easy, but understanding natural language is little difficult. So here we proceed further to learn few terminologies with respect to natural language. Okay, so we should be familiar with these terminologies. So first of all, you should know, okay, here phonology is written, but before that you should know the word phonetics. What do you mean by phonetics? It is the branch of linguistics. Okay, linguistics is nothing but study of languages. So it is the branch of linguistics that study how human make and perceive sound. Okay, so how do human beings can make sound, how they can perceive sound. So there is a branch of linguistics which studies this particular thing. Okay, so that branch is called as phonetics. Okay, so nowadays say for kids in English this is taught like apple, apple, right? So phonetics sounds they are showing. So they are explaining how that particular sound is generated by their vocal cords and all. Okay, so that is called as phonetics. Then next comes phonology. What do you mean by phonology? It is study of organizing sounds. Okay, it is again the branch of linguistics only, but it deals with system of sound within a language or between different languages. Okay, so how these sounds are there. Okay, how these sounds are organized. Study of organization of sounds is nothing but it is called as phonology. Okay, so I can say that phonology works on phonemes. Now what are phonemes? These are the units of sound that distinguishes word from the other word in the language. For example, letter. I'll show you with a simple example. All letters are having certain phonemes. For example, hen. When I talk about hen, three pronunciations are there with me. What are they? Hen, H, her, N, E, a, and N, N. So like that I am having three pronunciations. One for H, one for E, and one for N. So those are the three phonemes. Okay, so phonemes is nothing but the unit of sound. H, A, N. That distinguishes word from the other. Okay, when I talk about when, again I am having three pronunciations. How? V, A, N. So it is when. Went. If I talk about the word went, what pronunciations do I have? V, one for W, A, N, T. So I'm having four different pronunciations in that case. So those are nothing but they are called as phonemes. Okay, so phonemes are the unit of sound that distinguishes word from other words in a language. Okay, so every letter or alphabet, okay, has certain sound. Okay, that sound we call it as phonemes. So study of this phonemes is called as phonology. Okay, so it is shown over here. Study of this phonemes is called as phonology, and speech sounds we call it as phonetics. Okay, so study of how can human make those make and perceive sounds is called as phonetics. Okay, and the study of Organizing these sounds is called as phonology, or the where you study phonemes is called as phonology. Okay, I hope it is clear. So the third one is morphology, study of construction of words from primitive meaningful units. Okay, study of formal forms of words, how they are formed, their relationship to each other, okay, to the other words of the same language. That study is called as morphology. So when you talk about morphology, you study words. Morphology is nothing but study of words. Okay, it morphology analyzes the structure of the words, the parts of the words, such as what is stem, what is root word, what is prefix, what is suffix, different affixes. Okay, so morphology we will see in our next slide further. Okay, next is syntax. Okay, before going to syntax, I would like to tell you one difference between phonetics and phonology. Here we have talked about phonetics and phonology. They are sounding almost same, but they are not the same. So what is exact difference between them? Phonetics is the study of production. Okay, production, transmission and reception of speech sound. Okay, I repeat, production, transmission and reception of speech sound. Phonology select organization, classification of sounds of a particular language. Okay, so how basically sound is generated is nothing but phonetics, and how that sound is organized is nothing but phonology. Study of words is called as morphology, like how those words are there, how they are arranged. Okay, that is nothing but morphology. So when I talk about I'm working on words, okay, that study is called as morphology. These are all the branches of linguistics. Okay, further you have syntax. Syntax means how should be a sentence, how a sentence should be. Okay, can I talk like this? Can talk I like this, like? Can I talk like this? I'm talking, can talk I this like? No, it's completely wrong. So it should have certain syntax, right? After this should come, after this should come. So that is syntax analysis, right? So syntax works on phrases and sentences. Then the next one is semantics. Semantic means meaning of the sentences, okay? So working on meaning of the phrases and sentences is nothing but semantics. Next come pragmatics, okay? So meaning in context of discourse. What do you mean by context of discourse? What do you mean by discourse is first question, okay? So what is discourse? Talking about this word pragmatics. What is pragmatics? Again, it is again the branch of linguistics. It uses and understands sentences in different situations, okay? So some sentences act differently in different situations. Also define how interpretation of sentences is affected. Okay, what do you take that sentence as? How do you interpret it as? Interpret as. Come here is whether I'm giving an order or I'm telling politely. Okay, so interpret that particular sentence. So this is all done under pragmatics. It deals with conversation, text organization. Like if I want to say something, like what is the previous sentence? Am I actually ordering in that sentence, or am I talking politely? If I'm talking politely, so come here will again be polite, like this. Okay, so what was I talking previously to this? What am I going to talk after this? So it is text organization. Okay, so this kind of study of this is called as pragmatics. And last one is discourse. What do you mean by discourse? It is nothing but general knowledge about the world, about what world we are talking. So it is general knowledge. Okay. So before going further, I'd just like to tell you something more about morphemes. Okay, morphology deals with morphemes. So what is morpheme? It is primitive unit of a language, smallest unit of the language. It is not identical to a word. Morpheme doesn't stand alone like a word. Okay, so I guess so morphology is nothing but it is the field of study dedicated to morphemes. Okay, so anyways we are going to see these things in details, because morphology here onwards, morphology, then syntax, semantics and pragmatics, these four things we have to study. Okay, what you should know is these four things: morphology, syntax, semantics and pragmatics. These four, okay, forms a base for our natural language generation, natural language processing, okay, NLP. Okay, still you should know about phonetics also and phonology also. So what is phonetics? It is the study of speech sounds. Okay, what is phonology? It is study of phonemes. Morphology, morphemes accordingly. Syntax analysis is there, semantic analysis is there, pragmatic is there. Okay, pragmatic analysis is there, and discourse integration is there. Okay, so all these things we are going to see in details. So we'll see in details in our next lecture. Okay, so before going further, just like to revise what we have learned about phonetics. So what is phonetics? It is branch of linguistics that study how human make and perceive sounds. Okay, that is nothing but phonetics. So in phonetics you study the sounds. Then next is phonology, study of organizing the sounds. Over here you study the phonemes. So example of phonemes, when I talk about hen, I am having 3 phonemes: h, and n. Morphology, study of construction of the words from primitive meaningful units. Okay, that is nothing but study of morphology. So let us see. Then further we've also seen that phonetics is study of production, transmission, reception of speech sound. Phonology is organization and classification of the sound. Okay, so details about morphology, syntax, semantic, pragmatic will be covered in our next video. Thank you for now.